Now we know child labor to be cruel and inhumane, but for centuries it seemed to be a normal aspect of our society. By the 1900s, 1.75 million children, mostly immigrants or just people living in poverty, were working in mines, textile factories, farms, and on the streets. Child labor was viewed as cheap or sometimes even free labor. Children were exploited for their abilities to fit into small places, such as inside machines to fix them or through small tunnels in the mines. Several industries, particularly in the South, basically only employed children, and they were keeping their families afloat. A prominent labor figure, Mother Jones, started organizing working children and became a formidable opponent for those who wished to maintain a system of child labor. Mother Jones frequently spoke to IUPAT members through rallies and in our journal, and our union stood behind her in support. She eventually led a march called the Children's Crusade to the home of President Theodore Roosevelt, with banners demanding, "We want time to play, and we want to go to school." The march helped bring the issue of child labor to the forefront of the public agenda, leading to the founding of the National Child Labor Committee, which had two purposes: secure a federal law abolishing child labor and establish free education for children in the United States. After the first attempt at passing a law was defeated, political cartoons started popping up in newspapers and magazines that showed employers eating or crushing the children that made up their labor force. Journalists focused on the horrors of child labor in an attempt to draw attention to its inhumanity. After years of fighting, the Walsh-Healey Act was signed in 1936, setting safety standards, minimum wage, overtime pay, and child labor provisions on all federal contracts. This act made way for further protections, granted in 1938 by the Fair Labor Standards Act, which put limits on many forms of child labor. World War II sent nearly 3 million children back to work in 1944, until child labor was officially prohibited in 1949, with an amendment to the Fair Labor Standards Act. We are lucky to live in a time when children are able to enjoy their childhoods, get an education, and grow up without having to be put to work. However, some politicians hope to strip child labor laws and use children for cheap labor once again. Now more than ever, we need to protect our children and allow them to join our working society at the appropriate time.